I'm joined by my Chitozy today. And make a little comment about her as well. I've had some lovely comments regarding her dress. Now, a couple of people have said, is it something I can make? Is it a pattern I've got? It is my design. I did very much make it as I went on her. This is the problem. So the pattern is very roughly drawn out. So I would have to recreate the pattern. And also the yarn I've used is actually one of the Rosies Moments yarns that I got. But the problem being is, they are hand-dyed yarns, so you're never going to get the same effect. So I think what I would have to do is I'd have to make a couple, pop them on my Etsy, but they would be one-offs. And the other warning for people is it's not going to be such a cheap dress either, because this is done in a very, very fine yarn. And as you can imagine, just something as simple as these ruffles do take a lot of time to do. So it's quite a time-consuming dress. I'm over the moon with it. I mean, it's one of my favourite dresses that I've ever made for the dolls. So I love doing these ruffles. I do these ruffles either on the top or on the bottom. It's just something I've done. I've even done the ruffles for the tiny dolls. So it is something that people have asked, and thank you very much for the comments. It's really nice that you do love her dress, but it's not going to be something that's going to be immediate. I would like to make some, and I will pop some on Etsy. So if you do follow my Etsy, you'll be able to see when it pops up. But it's definitely not going to be before Christmas. I've got to sit down over Christmas and rethink everything I'm going to be doing for the following year, because I've got so much in my head. I think I'm getting ready to explode because I've got ideas and ideas and ideas. So I do need to sort that out. So Chitozy's there having a little bit of a pose in her lovely dress, sort of flashing her jewellery off as well, and in her Christmas hat. So Chitozy can go over there and have a little lie down while we look at number 23. Pop it down, missus. There you go. Ta-da! 23. We know it's a gift. I know I can rip across the top because I've been careful there. Oh, that didn't go very across the top. I hope it's okay. Right, let's pop the paper down and let's have a nose. I'm having a nosy first. What have I got? What have I got? Oh, now I presume this is still a stitch marker. Again, maybe something I've not seen. In fact, it's not a stitch marker, is it? It's where you're holding X amount of sort of stitches if you're knitting. So if you're doing a small part, you can use it. I know some people use safety pins. It's a very posh safety pin, basically. It is a very nice safety pin. I will find a use for that. No problem. But it won't be for the same reason. Excuse me. It won't be for the same reason as a knitter would use it. I will be using it for something else. So, excuse me for the sneeze. I don't know where that came from. I'm going to leave you there, and I will see you very soon. There, day 23. As you can see, I have my little 23 there to let us know. And this is the little gift I got in my yarn advent today. It's more of a knitter's product, but my mum does a lot of miniature knitting for me, so it'll be great for her to hold the bits and pieces. So I'm going to be taking that over to her today, so she will like that. So I'm going to put that to one side so I don't forget. Pop my number 23 out of the way, and this is what we're doing. A cute little teddy bear. Now I've done him sort of like bauble shaped, so you can sort of maybe hang him on the tree. I just think he's rather cute with his little festive jumper on there, but of course you can do that any colour, any design. It's up to you what you do. So it's nice and quick, nice and simple. Doesn't have to be for the tree. It's great for little hands. Just make sure you're looking at the safety issues and make sure you're using the proper stuffing. But as long as you're safe with it, you should be okay for the smaller fingers. We have double knit yarn here. I have a brown, a dark brown and a beigey colour. And I also have my red, what I've got left, my favourite yarn, apart from my sparkly white. I need to find out where I can get some more of that. I have my 3.5mm hook, little stitch marker, little safety eyes there. I'll check on the size of those. And my toy stuffing. And also, I've just got to show you this. It's nothing to do with this, with the actual crochet, but just look at that. It's so cute. It's a little mug. My husband came back from Meadowhall with that yesterday because apparently everything's reduced over there. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, but it is rather cute, and it'll probably just be sat on the side with my other things. I've got like Christmas puddings and things like that in ceramics. So we'll pop all this to one side. We don't need the scissors yet. We do need the stitch marker in a minute or two. We'll move the eyes. and I'll try not to lose them. I've already lost them once. They're over there. And let's get started. Now the dark brown, to be honest, if you've got a scrap, because it's only really for his nose and hanging up, you could use black, or you could use a scrap of some embroidery cotton or something like that. But I had the brown, so I used it, that was all. So let's get going. It's not a long job, this one, quite quick. But yeah, I'd say it's going to be an under an hour, depending on what level you are. It could be a lot faster. Right, 2 chain or not. 2 chain or not. Look, I've still done it. I'm going to start again. Right, that's another reason I like crochet, because if you go wrong like that, it's so easy to just undo. 2 chain. We have 2 chain. I am now going to do 6 double crochet into that first chain. Totally amigurumi this. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we have 6 double crochets there. We now need to double that up to 12, so we're going to do 2 double crochets in every stitch. So we'll start with this one here. We have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we now have 12. So we're starting to shape the bottom of him. Tighten up my slip knot there, make sure it's nice and tight, and we're going to do another 2 in each, because I want 24 stitches is the max size you're going to come to on this, so it's not that big. So let's have a look. We have 1, so 2 in every single one of the 12 now. We have 2, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 halfway, 7, oh, or not, good idea to go in the right stitch, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 more, 11 and 12. Right, we're going to get that stitch marker in now. Just makes life a little bit easier. And obviously, if I'm chuntering on at you, or talking, I don't know whether chuntering's a local term or whether it's worldwide. I don't know. We say chuntering. It means just talking, probably a lot of nonsense. We're now going to start with just plain double crochet rounds. We're going to have 3 of them. So if you want to fast forward this little bit or want to pause it, you're going to go round 3 times, just 1 double crochet in each one. Here we go, off we go. So I can just rely on my stitch marker now. They are brilliant things in this situation. Sometimes when I'm doing the tiny things, they're difficult because obviously they're so small. And so don't worry about the speed that I'm going. If you do require to slow me down, look for the little cog on your set where it says settings. Click on that and it'll give you an option for speed. Can speed me up as well. I don't think you need to do that. The only thing is my voice does sound somewhat silly, so you may be able just to watch rather than listen to me. Or listen to me first time and then sort of watch afterwards. Right, so that's round 1. I do have a pen here. Always have a pen and paper with me so I can write things down, or if I suddenly think of something I can take notes. So this is 2nd time round, and this is just forming the bottom of the teddy bear. As much as this is a teddy bear, it could be lots of different things. It could be a bunny with longer ears. It could be a dog, do a different sort of floppy ears. You can change the colours. Obviously you don't have to do a little brown bear like I'm doing. You don't have to do a red jumper. You could mix that up, a stripy jumper, a variegated jumper. You could even have a little 2-piece. So this part could actually be the colour of the clothing, and then you could maybe have a little section in the middle where his tummy's showing, and then another little bit on the top. It look like a little bikini, that would. So there's lots of variations just from one simple pattern. The beauty of amigurumi, it's very flexible. Right, 1 more round, off we go. tiny teddy time. Just the last few stitches. Still behind. Got one more video to do, which is the 24th, which we're actually on today. But I've only got one more. That's it. I will be done. That's my Vlogmas done. Only going up to Christmas Eve. And then it's time to sit down and attempt to relax. No, I will relax. I refuse not to. It is not a time for stress. It shouldn't be a time for stress, although I went down to the supermarket yesterday and yes, it was a time for stress for a huge amount of people. It was awful. I mean, we only wanted a couple of basics, so we quickly got it and got out as soon as we could. Right, so that's my 3 rounds. I'm going to just snip that off because it doesn't matter that we're going to be tying a knot because everything's going inside for the stuffing. And we're going to go on to my gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous red yarn. And I'm just going to pull it through that stitch. Pull it all nice and tight. You can tie it now if you want, but I think sometimes if you tie it now, it sort of doesn't always sit properly. So I'm going to go just 1 DC, 1 double crochet into every double crochet. We'll go a few and then I'm going to go back and tie it so it doesn't get in my way, because we need to make sure this is tight but not too tight because you've got to be able to get a stitch in it. So just pull it up a little bit and then we're going to tie a knot. And as I say, it's going to be on the inside. You're not going to see it, so you don't need to worry about sewing in, etc, etc. It's just there to make sure it doesn't unravel. Ta-da! Done it. Right, so we're doing just 1 double crochet into each double crochet again. And like with the bit we've just done, you're going to do that 3 rounds. So we've got 3 rounds of this red. So again, if you're pausing or fast forwarding, 3 sets, 3 rounds in your colour of choice. The sparkle of this red next to the beige is really nice. Not 2 colours I would have generally thought of putting together, but they just, I don't know, I think they seem to complement each other really nicely. It's a proper sort of poinsettia colour, this, and I really do need to sort out getting some more. There we go. Right, so that was 1 round. As I said, there's 3 again, like there was with the other one. I'm just finding a bit to write my numbers on because I've got little numbers all over the paper, so you have to make sure you know which one it is. So this is round 2, just 1 double crochet into each double crochet. I hope if you celebrate Christmas you are ready. Not worrying. You have to put it into perspective ultimately. I mean, I don't know about any other parts of the world, but our shops, for example, are shut for 1 day. That is it, just 1 day. So if we've forgotten something, or you know, missing something, or it doesn't really matter, does it, for the sake of a day? Right, 2. That was round 2. So you've only got 1 more round, and then we're going to be starting on some decreasings. That's why I say the maximum amount of stitches is 24, which is not a lot compared with some of the other things you'll have been making or that we have made on here. I think there's enough red here. I hope there's enough red here. No, I'm pretty sure there is. Because as I say, I'm going to be decreasing after this round anyway. It's all done in 1. That's one thing. There's no sewing his head on. The only thing that isn't in 1 are his ears. But again, that gives you the option then, if you wanted to make the body shape and then just put different ears on it, you can create different animals from there. So it's quite a good option really, that. Right, we're round. We're round. No, we're not. Nearly. Look. There, you can just see where there's a slight dip, so I know where when I'm round then. There we go, that will do. I'm going to move the stitch marker up because again, because amigurumi works on a spiral system, it does have to be moved because otherwise it will affect where your stop and start point is. We're going to start with our first decrease. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets together I'm double checking this because I got it wrong earlier. Where am I? There I am. It's because I've written it wrong on the paper. I've just put 2 in rather than 2 together, and it should be 2 together. Double checking. No, I have worded it wrong. I thought earlier that I'd done it wrong, but no, it's just me. There we go. So 2 together, and then 2 separate double crochets. So remember, 2 together is like this. Don't pull through. We should end up with 3. If we have 3, we can pull it through, and then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and you're going to repeat that round. We have 2. I'll do it nice and slowly if I can. 2, 1, 1, 2 together, 1, 1, 2 together, 1, 1, 2 together, 1 and 1, and we should have enough room for 1 more. That's looking good. 2 together, 2 stitches. Spot on. So that's our first decrease. I'm going to shove these in because they are bugging me. They dropped out from last time. Put them in like that. Use them as a bit of stuffing. They're not hurting anything in there. We're going to have another decrease. We're going to do 2 together and just 1 double crochet this time. Just a very typical reduction when you are doing amigurumi. So 2 together, 1, 2 together, 1, 2 together. There should be 6 of these. This is our third, and 1. It's squeaky, this wool. 2 together, and 1, 2 together, and 1, and there should be 1 more time. So there were 6 times we did that. 2 together, and 1. So we are now down to 12 stitches. We should be down to 12 stitches. We are. I'm going to pop a little bit of the stuffing in now because it's harder to sort of stuff, a bit of wool in there as well, harder to stuff when we've got a smaller space because we're going to build out for the head next. So a little bit more. Depends on how chubby you want to make him. I think that looks okay for now. We're going to be adding some more in a little while. We need to change the colour back now because we're going on to his head. Look, I did it. In fact, there might even be enough to make another one there. Let's have a look. Back to our beige yarn. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be joining in like I did before. And I'm then going to be doing an increase. So you're going to have 2 in 1 and 1 in 1. So it's increasing up. Let me put it back on screen there. So pull this through into the first stitch because we do need to tie this off, remember. And we're just going to do 2 double crochets into the first stitch. So that's 2. And then 1 double crochet in the next one. That's 1 set. Okay, let's do it again. 2 double crochet increase in the next one. And 1 double crochet. Right, I want to tie this off now. So I've just pulled that loose because I don't want this, because I need to shove this inside. So I need it doing now. So 1, don't do it too tight. And 2, and I'm just going to gather it all up and shove it inside so it's out of the way. That's better. We can work now. So what we were doing, pussycat hair, where is it? Could be the fluff off the yarn. It's a cheaper yarn, this beige, and you can feel it's got like more fibres to it, so it's not as smooth when you're working with it. So we were doing 2 and a 1, so 2 double crochets in 1, 1 double crochet in 1. I'm going to do that all the way around. A 2 and a 1. A 2 and a 1. We've got 2 more stitches left, which we should have. A 2 and a 1. So we've increased. There's not going to be any more increases. That is it. His head is only going to be 18 stitches round, and we are going to decrease, of course, but we're going to do 3 rounds now. So you can see I'm trying to keep it sort of so you're remembering it's 3s and 3s for things and things like that. It makes it easier. So 3 rounds, this is our first round. There should be 18 stitches. Fingers crossed you've got 18 stitches. If you haven't, you might go away with 19, you might go away with 17. If you've got much more or less than that, it's going to be slightly strangely proportioned. So you do need to think about that. Just trying to see the time, 17 minutes, not bad considering I've been talking so much on this one. Trying to get this video done this morning because I'm going out to meet my mother. I don't call her mother, I call her mum. Sounding posh there. Good to see mother. No, I'm not. I'm going to see my mum. So we're going to go and have a cup of coffee, and then I'll be back to sort out the second one. And Santa needs a little bit of help with the wrapping, so I have a little bit of that to do as well. Again, depending on where you're from and what you're watching, it will be Santa or it will be Father Christmas. We're sort of Father Christmas really over here. But if we're finding our younger ones, like my granddaughter, they're saying Santa now because it's what they're sort of hearing, or it's what school says. And wherever you go, it's sort of Santa's workshops, things like that. In fact, she's getting her last chance to go and see him today before he starts packing the sleigh. So she's a little bit excited about that. Right, that's round 2. We need one more round because we're going to have to put the eyes in a second. Although saying that, I'm excited too. Waiting to see whether he's going to bring me any Dolly Delights. So if I've been a good girl, I think I might have some coming. Right, this is the last round before we put the eyes in. Again, eye positioning is up to yourself. They can be wider, they can be narrower. I have a tendency to go for the wide look. That's just something I like. Right, we are round, so I'm going to stop a second. Let's have a look. So you can see his shape. It does look a little smaller at the moment. That's because he hasn't got all the stuffing in. It's amazing what you can do with stuffing. Let's have a look. So eyes, we're approximately, I'm going to go there. I think that looks okay. And maybe there. Maybe there. Do you think that looks almost the same? Because again, the thing is, when it's stuffed, it stretches, so you have to think about that before you fix them in. Make sure you want them where they are. Now, these are a little bit tricky to push on because they're only small, but with my particular ones, it's dome side up. The dome side's facing you. You need to apply a little bit of pressure, and I usually find 3 clicks. That was 1. Oh, that went a bit fast, but it was 3. So be careful with these. There has been times I've had to cut them out, and yeah, which is good because it shows how tough they are to stay in. 1. I think that was 3 on its own. Make sure they're nice and firm in there, not too tight, because then that can pull the yarn in as well, which isn't a good look. Right, the eyes are in, and we are ready for a little bit of decreasing. We're going to do 2 together, 1 all the way around. So 2 together, 1, 2 together. This should happen 6 times. 1. So that's 2. 2 together. Always a little bit difficult over the eyes if you're not careful. 1. That's 3. 2 together. 1. That's 4. 2 together. 1. That's 5. Last one. 2 together. And 1. That was a quick round. It's getting less and less and less now, so it's getting faster and faster. We're going to basically do 2 together until it's completely closed now. So it might be a good idea to get a little bit more of this stuffing in. So push it right down. In fact, we don't even need the stitch marker in now. Let's take that out. So pushing it right down into his body, deciding sort of, as I said before, how sort of chunky you want him. Don't overstuff though, because there's nothing worse than when you start to see your stitches separate. That's another reason I like to use a 3.5 when I'm crocheting like this, because I think it keeps the stitches closer together. So we don't want too much in, because I also don't want to catch as I'm doing the final few rounds. So I think that will do for now. We may have to top up just a little bit, but let's get a couple of these 2 crochets together. So all the way around, same stitch. Tighten up every time with these though, because you do get gaps. So 2 together. Tighten up, 2 together, tighten up, 2 together. See how you did it squeak? I don't know whether you can hear the ball squeaking. That shows I've got it quite tight. And 2 together. Right, we still need a bit of stuffing in. It gets more difficult to pop the stuffing in now, so I sometimes use my scissors as I've just knocked my microphone. I don't know whether that's going to make a noise there. I'm going to use my scissors to push it in bit by bit. In we go. But some of that I will push back up from his body, so I think that might be it. I think he's got enough stuffing in him. So let's just finish off the little bit we're doing. 2 togethers, just 2 togethers. 2 together, 2 together, and I'm not going to do the last one because there's not really much room. We're going to use our faithful needle to darn that little bit up. So let's fasten off this yarn. In fact, I'll do a slip stitch first. You don't have to, it's just something I do. Slip stitch, fasten off. Where's my needle? I'm going to give him a little squish to push some of that stuffing back up, sort of to his head area. It does look funny without his ears. And basically with this, I'm going to take it through. It's like darning, and I'm just wanting to flatten off any stitches I don't like. The finishing off of work is quite often more important than the actual crochet, because you can crochet, you can be brilliant at crocheting, but if you can't finish your yarn off or sew it up nicely, then it's not going to look great. I'm sure his head's come out smaller. Oh, bless you, you've got a little head. I have followed it. I don't know whether it's the stuffing more than anything else. It could be the way I've stuffed it. Never mind, he's got a little brother this time. He's going to be cute. We're going to do the ears. Couldn't be any faster. It might look different when I put the ears on. For the ears, we're going to have our 6-in-1 like we do before. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then all we're going to do is 1 double crochet in each double crochet, and that's it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Ear finished. Fasten off. Now it's inside out at the moment, so we do need to turn it the other way. Tighten everything up first, and then we'll turn it inside out. When it's this small, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes over a pen or something like that. There we go. So that's ear number 1. We need 2 ears, of course. They're so quick, we can do them now, so it can all be sort of in real time. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Just 1 in each. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Tighten up, fasten off, and that's ear number 2. Turn it the right way around. That's it. Make sure that that's nice and tight, because you need to make sure this hole's closed up here. So we have 2 little ears. I think he's quite cute. I quite like him. I actually like that. Oh dear, what have I done? He's got a bigger head. Oh, I say, he just looks like he's come out little brother or little sister. Sometimes I do find though, when I do like a practice piece, it quite often does come out larger than my sort of the second one. I don't know whether it's just me or whether I'm sort of, I have no idea at all. But this still works. It still works. So let's push that in. And that positions his ear. Yep. Ignore that. We'll fasten that off afterwards. Now, again, with the sewing up, same as we've done for any other, or if you have your own method of sewing up, whatever works for you is what you do. So I'm just going to pick up one stitch. It's hard to show you the sewing up, that's the only problem. Where's my stitch gone? There we go. Yes, I would recommend use a slightly better quality yarn because this is catching all the time. It does make a difference, you know. I can be a little bit of a yarn snob, but I do use some cheaper stuff as well. But it does make a difference. You can tell the difference if you're using a more expensive yarn. So I'm just sort of tacking his ear on, so to speak. Do a little knot to finish to make sure it's going to stay there. And push it through one, push it through two, should be enough, and trim off any excess from both pieces. What have I done there? Let's push that in. I've not pulled it through fully. If you get that, it's quite safe and quite acceptable to just sort of push it in into the body of the item because it won't affect it. So I'm just taking the middle one, which is the one that comes from a slip knot. You don't have to even do this, you can just cut the slip knot off and sew into place, but I do find it's quite useful to use it as a sort of a positioner. I can sort of decide whether that's an okay position before I actually sew it on, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'll just trim that off after. The only thing we've got to add to him after this is his little nose or mouth or whatever you want to call it. It's like a little nose really. And a little string for hanging. If you're hanging him up, you might not be hanging him up. When they're this small, they are a little bit harder to sew in. I mean, this isn't small. I do work on a much smaller scale, but they can still be fiddly at this size. Right, I think time for a little knot. Keep your knots nice and tight. You don't want to see them sticking out. That's it. And again, thread through, just a little bit of extra security to make sure things aren't going to come undone, and trim and trim. Oh, I'm quite pleased with that. He has come out smaller, but I just knocked the camera again. I think he's so cute. Right, let's get a bit of this brown yarn for his nose. Again, if you've got embroidery threads, nice as well. I do find sometimes embroidery thread splits if you're using the full 6 strands. So yeah, I will use it on my top. Oh, says me. Look at that. I moan about embroidery thread splitting, and this yarn, it's like it was listening to me. It promptly split on me. There we go. Through. We're through. Now, I probably think that's way too long, so I'll cut it a bit shorter. Knot. Or not. There we go, knot. And I'm going to take the knot through the body up to where I want his nose. And I think I want his nose about there. Pull it through. Make sure you can't see the knot. But we've pulled that knot all the way through. Yeah. And then we're just going to go across for his little nose. I'm going to go through just once and then have a look at it. Do I need another one? I'm going to do one more, and then I think I'm going to bring it out up at the top of his head. Oh, he's got a little bit slightly fatter nose than the other one. Doesn't matter, does it? No, he's so cute. Right, and again, if you want to here, you could just turn this into our hanger. It is entirely up to you, or you can do it the other way and do a separate hanger. Right, you could do it this way, and then I'm just going to knot it. It's certainly not going to go anywhere this way, and then his little nose won't come undone either. Couple of knots back through the body. 1 and 2. I moved from the camera then. I hope you saw what I was doing. You could use a bit of ribbon. You don't have to use the yarn. And there we have our second little chunky bear. Oh, he's a little lopsided. Give him a little wibble there. Get him into position. And I'm really pleased with him, even though he's come out smaller. I actually quite like this size. So the pattern I have done with you today is what gave me this little guy. So this is probably the proportion you're going to come out with. I've not got the faintest idea. I think I might have added an extra round in there. That's all I can think of, but I think I quite like that one. So these two little fellas are going on my Christmas tree. I suspect one of them's going on my daughter's Christmas tree, but as we stand, they're going on mine. I hope you enjoyed that. Please, if you did, please like it or subscribe, make a comment. Join me in our next tutorial, which will be the last one for December. And otherwise, if I don't see you with the next one, I will see you hopefully in January. So click on the notification bell if you want some more information. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.